Hey friends, welcome to the Moms in Real Estate podcast. I'm Kristen, your host, a community builder, an agent, an entrepreneur, and a mom. And this podcast is for moms that are building a business and they're building life, and we're not pretending like we have it all together. I'm so happy you're here. Let's dive into our episode. Hello, Moms in Real Estate. Welcome back to another amazing episode. I am here with Allie Readyhough. I said it right. I'm so excited. We talked about me messing that up. But you guys, I'm really excited. We actually met on Instagram, which you know I love meeting people on Instagram. And we just decided to set up a date here on the podcast and talk all about her journey in real estate and how she closed 75 million in 2025 and her journey of being a mom and all these different things in real estate. So welcome, Allie.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I know. So why don't we just get started and tell everybody a little bit about why you got into real estate?
Sure. So my dad, growing up, owned a real estate brokerage. And he owned that for about a little bit over 40 years. And I wasn't always in real estate. I've been in real estate now for about 10 years. Previously, I was in Boston and I was in corporate finance and working a lot. And it was great, but there was no like people aspect to it. So my dad had reached out and kind of talked about, would anybody be interested in taking over the family business out of me and my siblings? And I was the only one that had any interest. So I kind of went home, I shadowed him for a weekend and realized I really do like it. I've always been interested, but it was something that I really seriously was considering. So we ended up moving home. I got my license.
I want to pause real quick because I have interviewed so many women on this podcast whose families have been in real estate, and then they're like, when they were younger, they're like, I thought like I would never be in real estate. They didn't want to because they saw their parents in real estate and then they became real estate agents. Was that you?
I always loved it. So I remember when I was a kid, I would look through those real estate magazines. I
Mm-hmm.
remember like specifically, it happened all the time, but one specific instance where I was at like going out for ice cream and they had those big plastic things where you could get the real estate book and you could look through the listings, which I never see anymore.
Houses, the plastic.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. I loved looking at those. So I always was super interested in it. But then I was a numbers person, and so I majored in accounting and finance, and I got into like that corporate world, moved to Boston, kind of wanted to leave Rhode Island for a bit. But then I really still always had an interest. Even when I was in accounting, I was in like the real estate industry for accounting. So I don't know, I always was super interested in it. He made it fun when I was growing up, kind of watching him. He was always happy, and everyone he worked with kind of like just enjoyed working together. So it was always attractive to me. And so I moved home and I got into it. And then right before COVID, he kind of had asked me, do you want to take over the brokerage and be like a broker owner or not? And so for me, I loved being an agent and I loved the client interaction. And I wasn't at the point, I had one little kid at that point. And I just wasn't at the point where I was ready to kind of be a broker owner. So he ended up selling the company um, to a firm, which we were at for 5 years, which was great. But then we had an opportunity to join Sirhan when they first joined, first entered Rhode Island in October. And so we had formed a team after we sold the business, and that team collectively went over to Sirhan, Rhode Island, which we're at right now. And things are great. I love it.
Well, okay, and you just summed up like a decade in about 60 seconds. So
Yeah.
let's unpack a lot of that because you've been through so many different seasons in real estate, and I love showcasing on this podcast like real estate looks different for everybody and it looks different throughout your journey. And so why don't we talk about like when you first started building like your own business, what was, and you had, you said you had one kid at that time. So maybe tell
Uh-huh.
us a little bit about like having young kids and starting to like really go out and prospect and do all the things that we have to do in real estate.
Yeah, it was not easy. So I first got my real estate license, and shortly after I found out I was pregnant. So, you're starting to build your brand, and then I think immediately that kind of sets you back a little bit, unfortunately to say, but it's just hard because you have to take off a little bit of time at that point. And then the first year he was born, I tried to work at home with him, which was great until he started moving. And then I, got daycare, and I'm so fortunate to have my parents close by to help me out because, as you know, it's like a showing comes up and it's sometimes last minute, and you kind of just have to be available when people want to see a house or when there's a call and it's super demanding. And I feel fortunate that it's not like a 9 to 5, but at the same time, you have to be available when somebody wants to talk because it's really important to them, and you should be. That's part of the job. Um, so it was definitely a balancing act and a lot of logistics because when you're starting out, you don't make money right away. It's hard, but I'm so fortunate to have grown up here and have remained close with a lot of the people in the community. Um, but I did everything. Like, I chased expired listings, I tried Zillow, I kind of tried a little bit of everything, but what I found really truly worked the best was my sphere. And just staying in touch with everybody. And when you get a lead, no matter if it's like 200,000 or 3 million, you treat everybody the same and you work super hard because you get so much referral business from treating people right. And, it's worked out for me.
Yeah, I think that something you said that I think is so important for anyone listening. Like, if maybe you're sitting there thinking like you have small kids and you're getting your real estate license, I think something that you said that can really like land with these women is like having like a tribe. It can be your parents, it can be your family, it can be, maybe you're part of like you have a bunch of friends, but I think as any entrepreneur knows, like it is demanding when you're building and you are in that, like everyone says, like you have to set boundaries, and it's really hard to set boundaries when you're in build phase. Like I
Hmm.
really, really think there's a phase that we all have to go through where I think that's a really difficult thing to just say. But to me, it's like, do you have people when those demanding things come up that you love and trust that can also help you and your kids? And are you, like anyone can drop their kids off here, any of my friends, family, and I'll be like, yeah, leave your kids here and like you go do your thing. And the question is like, do you have those people? And I think it's so important. And you had your so like you were so fortunate. And so I think if anyone's listening and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't have those people, I think that's something to work on, don't you?
Son, yeah. Having those people makes a huge, huge difference. Like you said, people that understand the demands of real estate. I mean, not everybody does, but I think that's kind of like a second layer that just makes it, and it's just more relevant that they can totally understand. You always feel bad, right, asking for help, but there are
Yeah.
certain times you just have to do it because it's for the best of your family and for that other person that you're asking. They probably enjoy it. They probably like spending time with your kids, but you just kind of have to get over that fact of feeling guilty, because you got to do what you got to do.
I'm coaching a mom in real estate right now who's building a community, a really cool community. And something she said, it just like tugged at my heart because she said like she constantly would have people in her life being like, oh, there she goes again, like on another call. And like I think we can all feel that where we're like, oh my gosh, like I know this sucks, but I have to get this call. And so it's just like, going back to having the right people too. What would you say, like, so like let's go to like you had another kid, so you've got a young kid and you've got a newborn and you're kind of in the middle of your real estate career at that point, right?
Tell me if this is you. You're between a showing and school pickup, and you realize you haven't posted on Instagram in 2 weeks. You want to show up online. You've heard it can work, but between the kids, the clients, and everything else, content is always the thing that falls off the list. But when it's working, DMs start flooding in from people saying, I want to work with you. Take it from Elena, a busy mom who sold 8 million from Instagram in 1 year. Katie, who hit 3.5 million in 6 months as a brand new agent, and Lauren, who sold 5 million from Instagram just after 1 year. They all lean on Coffee and Contracts, a marketing membership that gives you the content, the strategy, and a weekly content plan so you never have to figure out what to post. That's the difference between wasting time on leads who ghost and attracting your people even when you're offline. Moms and real estate listeners can try a free week of Coffee and Contracts content. Head to the show notes, click the link, and if you love it, use code MIRE for $20 off your membership.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that was like end of 2021, early 2022. And so, yeah, my dad had sold the business at that point, and we were at another firm. Him and myself were working as a team, and it was before we built out the team we're at now and added people. So I was still doing like a good amount of volume per year, but at that point I had learned from having one that there's certain systems you have to put in place so that you can continue your business, but also have that flexibility and kind of like time block and manage time, and ask for help and set it up on like a regular schedule, right? So I had daycare, and then my son was going into kindergarten at that point. So there were certain, like I set up a YMCA program after school for him on certain days. And then I had certain days where I was available to pick him up so that I would have time with him. Certain times I had parents pick up, that kind of thing. So definitely putting systems and structure in place so everybody knows when they're on. And I know when I have availability.
Let's talk about mom guilt at that phase in your life because we all feel it. We're like, oh my gosh, like, whether it's because of daycare or YMCA after school program, or you can't pick up every single day. Like, how did you get through that?
That was the hardest.
So
So
hard.
I'd say like 2024 is when I started the team with another local real estate agent, Johnny. And it just, for a number of reasons, took off. And I knew it was like a season that was going to be super busy and I would get through it. But there was nothing I could do to delegate at that point. It's like when you're growing something and you're not quite at that phase where you can delegate anything or hire anybody, but you're going to get through it. And my son was, I think, 6 at that point. My daughter was just 2. So she wasn't quite understanding of everything. I still felt guilty, but it was heartbreaking because he would say things to me like, "You're always working so much and I just want to spend more time with you and I miss you." And I felt so guilty, and it was so, so hard to hear. But I knew, like, in my heart that within a year, I would be in such a better place that I could support them much better. And I would be able to put people in place and structure in place to make it so that I could be there for everything that I wanted to be there for. But at that time, I couldn't hire out and I had to work like crazy. But it was just a season and I knew it was. In the moment, it was so, so hard. But now that I'm looking back, I knew I just had to do it. I don't even know what advice I'd give to somebody in that moment because it's just heartbreaking.
Well, I mean, a lot of us women, like, we have to work, right? And so it's like we can go and get an 8 to 4, 9 to 5, whatever job, and we're gone even longer if you really think about it. Like, we do have flexibility, but I think the hard part is our kids see us working from home a lot and then out on the go. So we have the amazing aspect of like we're with our kids a lot, but sometimes we have to be working when we're with our kids. So I think that like I know for me, I literally just said this the other day. I'm like, this summer, like I've got to be actually like I have to leave and go to my office and not sit and work from home because I feel like that's where my kids will be like, "Ah, you're always working." I'm like, hey, if I was actually at like a law
Yep.
firm or something working, I'd be gone a lot more, you know? So it's just like, I don't know if you struggle with that, but I definitely think it has like it's the like the good and the bad of being able to be so flexible and work from home and work with around our kids.
Yeah, 100%. I like think back to when I was working in Boston in like corporate accounting and finance. And I think like I would never even be able to have as much time with the kids.
Yeah, like think
Exactly.
about it. It's crazy. You'd have to get up so much. It would be such a different life.
It would. And like, it is, you're totally right. It is like they see you on your phone's ringing and you're taking calls, but you're with them because you have that flexibility. So it's a lot about kind of explaining it to them too, which I tried my best to do. And a lot of times, this is so bad, but I would go to the bathroom and like
Yeah.
be like, I have to run to the bathroom and hide and like text or call in the bathroom because then they wouldn't see it.
No,
Um,
I
and it
feel
wouldn't be in front of their eyes, you know?
I feel that so much. I know. I'm like, oh, it's like the struggle is real. And so I love being able to point that out because I know we all feel it. There's not one mom I've ever talked to who doesn't feel that. And the other aspect of it is it's the business guilt, right? So like we just got done with spring break. I don't know if you're on spring break right now or where it lands for you guys in Rhode Island, but I was like, I'm trying really hard, like on their breaks to take off as much as I can. And so then I'm like, I feel so guilty because I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't like done all the list of things to do, right? And so it's like you have both mom guilt and you have business guilt.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you're always pulled in one direction. And I think that's also like at work where I'm so fortunate to have a team that's super supportive and just I love being around because I can take off vacation and I can do those things. Not all the time, but
Well,
you know.
and you said so you're newer to like you combined with Johnny, right? So you guys combined businesses, you guys grew fast, and now you went from I think you went from like 50 million in 2024 to 75 million in 2025, and that's a huge jump. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, it's time to hire, right? Because I think you did your first
Mhm.
hire at the end of last year, end of 2025. So I know there's a lot of women out there that are feeling that like when is the right time to hire somebody? So maybe walk us through for you, like what did that look like and who was your first hire?
Yeah. For us, it kind of came when we moved over to Sirhan. Because we knew we needed like an administrator kind of position, and she's way more than that. We call her our COO because she does everything for us. She's amazing. We actually worked with her at our previous company, and she was in charge of all the administrators there. Had been in real estate for 11 to 12 years, and just is amazing, super detail oriented, friendly. She was a perfect fit, and we just knew like if we could ever get her, we needed to do it.
Oh,
And the
that's
timing worked out perfectly.
so cool. I love that. And so that was your first hire, and then have you hired since her?
Yeah, so we also hired a girl named Dempsey, and she is amazing. She just got her real estate license, but she was fresh out of college, a super talented athlete, so she had that super competitive drive and really good at marketing. So she started off helping us with random tasks and marketing for us, and then she was like, I really like the industry and got her real estate license. So now she does a little bit of everything.
That's cool. That's so fun. I
Yeah.
love hearing like how somebody grows like from just them doing everything to like the first, second, third. Because it's so important. Like if we're just sitting there doing everything, like it's just you'll lead to straight burnout. And sometimes like I love looking at it like sometimes I have to take a step back to take a step forward. And for me, that was like financially, like when I brought on my first person, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, but also I was
Yeah.
like, I can take a step back financially. Like, I don't need to be making so much money. And so it was really this like, hey, that's okay. Like, step back, bring this person on, and then we'll go further. And then, like, again, like, I just feel like I'm constantly doing that. And it's really helped to where it's removed me from the weeds of the everything, you know? Hey girls, did you know Moms in Real Estate has a referral network? That's right, we do. You guys have to check it out. It's called the Moms in Real Estate Referral Network on mirereferralnetwork.com. And you can search for moms in real estate all across the United States that can be your referral partners. Make sure to check it out now.
Yeah, it frees you up for the things where your time is most valuable. Um,
Where is
and
your
if
time most valuable?
on listing appointments, launching listings, if I have like buyers going on showings with them, but I've mostly been listing focused. It hasn't been like an intentional thing. It's just where my career has led me. Um, so more time for actual appointments and looking at the structure of the team and the operations and all that stuff, and less time like deep in the paperwork of things. So, because that takes a lot of time, paperwork.
Yeah.
So it's been a great decision. A great
Yeah.
decision for us. Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like you really like I've only gotten to talk to you a handful of times, but I do feel like you seem like you've kind of gone through some hard times and where you're at right now feels really good to you. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, we felt I think there were times where we were so busy and we still did everything. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so we still did everything great so that our clients had the best experience, but it left us like so burned out in the fact that like we were up till 2 in the morning, we weren't sleeping because we were thinking about all the things that we had to do. So now to have like come home from work and have like a few hours to not like I can put my phone down and I know that everything's going to be okay and I can just hang out with my kids. So it's made a huge difference.
I love that. Okay, let's do a couple like random questions. What's one thing, this could be a system, this could be a book, whatever, but like what's something that you're like, this was so impactful for my business to move forward? Be a system.
So I guess two things. Hiring the COO was huge. And also the people on our team, they just how they collaborate together and how everyone gets along. And there's literally like no egos.
Yeah.
Everyone is just awesome people that have great networks and work so well together. And there's no conflict. It's just a super enjoyable place to go every day. And we laugh so much and have so much fun. And just, I think it's not really a system, I guess, but just that group of people all being together and like finding that group has been a game changer because I think everyone's so happy when they come to work.
Well, I know if anyone's listening to this podcast any amount of time, you know that answer is like music to my heart because music to my ears because it's like it is people. Like people are the secret sauce at the end of the day with so many things. I always say like being around the right people, like you're saying, putting yourself in the right rooms to help you grow, like all the different things that like what you just said was so perfect. I love that you said that. I thought you were gonna
It's
say
true.
like follow a boss or something.
Oh, no. We're still experimenting with all that stuff. But I just think it's truly like every day we go to work, we laugh so much and have so much fun. And I just love being around everybody.
That's the best feeling ever. I love the girls that I work with. If they're listening right now, I love you
It's very
guys.
important.
It is. Okay, let's talk about like what's a. I'm gonna keep going with these questions. So,
Sure.
what is a book that you're like, this has been something that I really loved? It could be parenting, it could be business, or it could be just a random book that you're like, I enjoyed this.
Okay, this is really horrible,
Okay.
but I have been so busy that the only books I read right now are books for my kids, like at
I don't think
night.
that's horrible at all. I think sometimes people just keep telling me, read this book, read this. I'm like, I can't read all these books. It's
No, I
hard.
read the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books to my
Yes,
son, like, at
all the time.
night, or, like, board books to my daughter because she's only 4, and then I fall asleep.
Yeah.
So, I need to read more for myself now that I finally have that time to do that, but, to be honest, I can't recommend anything besides children's books.
That's totally okay. And do you know my kids are probably around your kids, like probably a little bit younger than yours when it was one of my goals to read one book a month that was like not for business and not kids books and just like and I have been doing that. Like sometimes it takes me
Oh,
two
it's
months to
so
read,
good.
but it's been like honestly like so good for me. And then with the business books, I'm like I just listen to them on Audible because there's no way I'm gonna sit and read a like actually physically read anything.
That's smart. I was saying I'm gonna do that in the car, but
Sure. Okay, what is your favorite gift to give to a client once you close?
So I try to be like more intentional about the client and the situation because they're across the board. So if it's somebody, I have a lot of people relocating to Rhode Island from out of state. So I really like to talk about different local businesses that I like or restaurants that I think they might like and kind of get them a gift certificate or like a product from one of the businesses that we've talked about based on our conversations that I'm like, I think they'd really like this place. So I think it's like definitely more personal depending on the client. I can't say there's like one thing that I'd say I do this all the time.
Yeah, I actually love that you said that. I was thinking there's no way you personalize it doing as much business as you do, but you do, and that's awesome.
I try.
Okay, well, I have loved having you on, and I know that if anybody needs a referral in Rhode Island, you guys have got to call Allie. And where do they get a hold of you? What's your Instagram handle? Is that the way that people should reach out?
Yeah. A Readyhough is my Instagram handle. So A and then just my last name. And you can
How
get a
do
hold
you
of me.
spell Ready Off? Because it is definitely not spelled.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's ReadyHough.
Perfect. All right.
Thank
And so
you.
that's perfect. Thank you so much for coming on. And you guys definitely make sure to connect with her. And we'll see you later. If you like this episode, make sure to like and to subscribe so that we show up in your feed. And if you want to stay close, make sure to check out the show notes because I have a lot of ways for you to do that.